Okay. Okay. So this is our 24th session. In this, we are going to discuss about some business questions which can be answered through Tableau. So these are our topics. So when user selects any month, so that month and the previous 2 months. So combination of the last 3 months data you should be able to see, and how to show the top five and bottom five, and how to show last day in every month, and spotlighting calculations we'll see in this session. Okay, so first we'll create how to create last 3 months selection using parameter. So this type of requirements which we might get. So let's say, let me just show you. Okay, so in order date, so this is our order date column, and I'll select month, month and year combination, and I'll select it as discrete. Okay, so here I will be able to see month and year. So January to December 2023. So I have all the months, but I want to see only 3 months of data. So here the requirement is, okay, so here the requirement is to see 3 months of data. Okay, so I'll tell you what the requirement is. So whenever user selects any data, any date, whenever user selects any particular date or you say month. Okay, so that month and previous 2 months. That month and previous 2 months. Previous 2 months. So that means I want to see 3 months of data based on the selection, based on the user selection of the date. So that's my requirement. So let's say if I select June 2021, so I should be able to see June, May, and April. And if I select January 2023, I should be able to see January 2023, December 2022, and November 2022. So let's see how we can do that. So let's put the sales also. Okay, so we have all the months data here. And when we are showing it to the, or when we are publishing it to the server, or when we are showing it to the user, I only wanted to show only the 3 months. So now let me create a parameter. I want this to be controlled by using a parameter. So select month and year. I'll select date here. So I want to create a parameter for date, and I want the list, and I'll take it from the order date. So the dates I will take it from order date. So instead of me entering it manually in the list, so I can pick it up from the order date. And I can change the formatting also. So you can select the existing formats. So these are the existing formats you can see. The standard long date. So in display, you can see 25th December 2023. And if you select standard short date, it will be in MMDDYY format, or you can select this one. So manually, I want to enter month and year. So I will select custom. So custom means you can select whatever format that you want to. So I want to show MMM and YYY. Or I want to see all the four. Yeah. Say okay. And you can see that parameter is created. So date parameter, or you can say select month and year, show parameter. So as that we have created in a format MMM dash YYYY. So it has created in this format. So you have all the dates starting from January to December 2023, as we have it in the order date. So here my requirement is to, when I select any month and year, December 2022, let's say select. So I should be able to see December, November 2022, October 2022. So I will give connection to this parameter with the a calculation. So then it will act accordingly. So go to this drop down and click on create calculated field. Let me just increase the resolution. Okay, so just a second. Okay. Okay, so I'll create a calculation where it can be month selection calculation. So I'll write if date diff. So date diff is something where it will find the difference between two dates. So it's a function that is available. So let's take date diff of. So I'll take order date. So I want to see the difference of months. Okay, so months, and I want to see order date minus the date which is there in the parameter. So I will select parameter date. Okay, less than or equal to 2. Then, and I will also write one more condition, or date diff. I want to subtract month, so I'll put the date part as month. Okay, so in date part, you can write uh, calculation like a month, year, quarter, day, week. All these are date parts, and you have to write in small letters. Otherwise, the function won't work. So it's case sensitive, and you have to write it in small letters. So this date parts, you have to write it in small letters. And now let's take order date, select month year equal to 0. So what I'm writing here is, it's basically whenever this condition satisfies, I want to show the last 3 months data. So whenever this condition satisfies, let's say date diff December 2022. The selection here is December 2022. Okay, so whenever that date matches with the order date, so then equal to 0. So when you do this December 22 minus December 22, then only you will this condition will get satisfied. And there is one more condition which is less than or equal to 2. So less than or equal to 2 meaning 0, 1, 2. So there is only 3 months where you can get it. So let's say if I say this as equal to 1, so there has to be 1 month difference between two dates. So December, if the order date is if the selection here is December 2022 and this has to be some November 2022, so then only this condition will satisfy as 1. Why? Because the difference between parameter and then order date is 1. And the next condition, let's say you put it as 2 and your selection is December 2022 and this has to be 2 months before, which is October. October minus December will give you 2. So then only this condition will get satisfied. So here what I'm writing is, So equal to 0, whenever this condition satisfies, whenever order date and parameter date matches, then you will get this condition will satisfy. And when I say less than or equal to 2, that meaning you will get 0, 1, and 2. That means you will get the past 3 months data. And say OK. And I'll put this in the filter and select S. One second. Yeah, we need to write and. So it's not or, let's change this to and. Yeah, so we need both the conditions, right? So we need to make it as and. Say apply. So let's just make use of this one. Calculation one and put it in the filters. Say yes. Okay. And I will use this date parameter instead of this one. Show parameter. So here I have selected July 2020. So it is giving me July 2020, June 2020, and May 2020. And let's say if I select March 2020, so March 2020 and whatever is the previous 2 months data that I can see. And when I open this, okay, so the order date minus the date parameter, the value which we are selecting here. So whenever that is less than or equal to 2, then we can see this condition will get satisfied. So if I take an example of order date is, if date parameter is March 2020. Okay, and when the order date is March 2020, so then I will see, it as, so if you do March 2020 minus March 2020, which will give you 0. And this is parameter. And this is order date. So whenever these two are equal, that means equal to 0. So which is meeting this condition, which is satisfying this condition. So it will be in the part of S. And every time this is same, and I'll just take this same scenario. Okay, now this time it will be February. So February, March 2020 minus Feb 2020, which will be 1. So 1 month difference. You can see there is 1 month difference. And now I'll take January. Okay, what is the difference between this thing? Navitesh, can you tell me what is the difference between March 2020 and January 2020? Yeah. And now when I take April, or let's say, if I take, okay, December 2019. Okay, what is the difference? So can you tell me what is the difference? How many months difference it is there? Yeah, perfect. So there are 3 months difference. So for 3 months, this condition will not get satisfied. Why? Because our numbers are between -1 to 2. So 0, 1, 2 is only part between less than or equal to 2 and greater than -1. So that means only 0, 1, 2 will get satisfied. Yeah, Lakshmi, do you have any question? You can write equal to 0 also. Greater than equal to 0. Yeah. Yes. Greater than -1 and greater than equal to 0, both are same. Mm-hmm. ఎక్కడ comments okay, sorry. I'm using this thing now. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. Okay, so you can use greater than equal to also. It will be same. So greater than -1, which will be 0 only, right? 0 to 2. So in both the cases, it will be same. So yeah. Yeah, we can use it. That will be different. I will tell you how to write case statements, but not in this. Okay, so let's say if I change the value to 3, so how many months I can see? Yeah, so I can, okay, so this data is up to only 2020, so you are not able to see 2019. So let me select another month. Okay, so you can see 4 months data. If I make it to 4, I should be able to see 5 months. So you are getting 0 to 4 values. So that's about the date diff function. And now we will discuss about there are some functions where we can do blended access, and I'll tell you about the difference between dual access and blended access. Yes, ఆపోజిట్. ఈ 4 months తప్ప ఈ 5 months తప్ప మిగతా వస్తాయి. సో July 22. So I have selected July 22 these 5 months, right? Apart from these 5 months, you don't see this July 22. Let's select starting months, May 2020, right? If I select May 2020, I should be getting the last 5 months. So only, so that's the opposite. If you select no, it's opposite. You don't see May 2022, January things, January, February, March, April, May, that you won't see. So it's exactly the opposite. Yeah, so that's about so this kind of requirements you get. So you'll be asked to let's say when user want to select only one particular month, and based on that he should be able to select the previous months. So normal filters, what you get is, let me make a duplicate of this one. Okay, so if I use an order date as a filter, and I'll select month and year, select all, show filter. And here user can select whatever month he want to select. So whatever month he's selecting, that month only he will be able to see. So that is possible. That is directly possible. The one which I have shown you. So this is some alternate method. Like user want to select only one month, but he want to see the previous months also in one selection. Previous 3 months or previous 4 months. Previous 3 months or previous 4 months data, he will be able to see. And let's say if I select January 2021, yeah, so previous 5 months data, as I have modified that calculation. So if we put 2, you should be able to see 3 months data. So those are the kind of requirements that you get. So whatever the Tableau uh, by default things which you can do with the filters and all, they might not ask you for those functionalities. They might ask you something which is not possible directly in Tableau. So then we need to write calculations and make use of parameters. Now I will create blended axis. So to create a blended axis, we need to be making use of this measure names and measure values. So in the starting, we have discussed about measure names and measure values. So these are auto-generated fields in Tableau, where we use this two things to create advanced level of chart. So now that blended axis is also one type of advanced level chart. So where we can create, we can use multiple measures to create the charts. So now that I have taken sales, I will also take profit. I'll also take profit and I'll take subcategory. Okay, so to create blended axis, you can directly go to this. I'll take one more dimension. So here you will have the option to select blended axis, or it will write as side by side bars also. You can see it as side by side bars. In this 24 charts, you can see as side by side charts. So basically, this is called as blended axis charts. So and why this is called as a blended axis chart? So within one axis, you can see two different measures. So that's the reason we call it as a blended axis. In one axis, we can view two or more measures. Okay, not only two measures, I can keep any number of measures that I want to. So here the blue one represents profit and the orange one represents sales. So if I want to keep one more measure, discount. So if I double click on this, okay, one more measure got added into this list. So this way I can make use of uh, this blended axis where I can keep multiple measures. See, if you see, when I clicked on this side by side bar, so Tableau automatically take in this measure names and measure values into the row shelf and marks card shelf and to the filter shelf. So in measure names, as we know, it will store the headers of the measures. So all this, so it has filtered whatever the measures that is there in the visualization. So if you want more measures, you can just take those measures that you want to see. Let's say if you want quantity also, say apply. So you can see 4 different measures. So this way we can keep the number of measures we want to see. So this is about blended axis. Now let me create dual axis chart. So here also we can compare two different measures. So in this we can only compare only two. In blended axis we can compare any number of measures, like not only two, you can compare more than two also. Okay, here also I'll take subcategory. Okay, so I'll put this in column shelf. Okay, so I have two different axes. Okay, so the main difference in dual axis is the axis will be different. Okay, so for blended, it is one axis used by other measures, but in dual axis, it is two different axes. So even if you do, okay, so we have an option to do dual axis. So right click on any of the measure. So you will see this option called dual axis. Okay, so you will see for sales, you have one axis to your left, and for profit, you have one axis to your right. Okay, so I want to see bars, and one bar I want to see thinner. Yeah. Okay, you can see like this. So which is in blue color is profit, and which is in orange color, that is sales. So here also we can view two different measures, but the axis is different. So for profit you have one axis, and for sales you have one axis. So that's the main difference in blended and dual axis. So in blended you can see the measures side by side. In dual you can see on top of one another. So this is the main difference about dual axis and blended axis. Okay, so while explaining about drop lines, sorry, while explaining about formatting changes, we have missed this topic, which is drop lines. So I'll show you how drop line works. So let me take subcategory and sales, and I'll take a circle chart. And I'll put subcategory in color and make it as circle. Okay, so each and every subcategory is colored with a different color, and you can see values based on this axis. Okay, so now I will create drop lines. So drop line is something, let's say you have these values. So 160 to 180K. So this value is $167,380, which is not visible here. So drop line is something where it will show you a line from x-axis and y-axis. So it will show a line from left and from the bottom. So go to the right click on this visualization, click on show drop lines, and click on this and edit on drop lines. So there is one option where you to show always or to show only when selected. So let's see this option, the first option, only when selected. So if you click on this, okay, so you can see a drop line coming from left side, and so that you can see from where it is coming. So 207, $355, you can see exactly where it is. And if you click on this, you can see a line coming from here, and you can see $331. Otherwise, if you want to see uh, for all for all the circles at a time, so you can just go to drop lines and click on edit drop lines and click on always and say okay. Okay, and you can see this. So from where it is coming and all this information you can see. Not only that, you can see value also on top of that. So click on edit drop line and labels. If you click automatic and say okay, so you can see the labels as well. So sometimes it is merging, so it's preferable to not to show over there, or else you can show it on the circle. So to show it in the circle, click on this label, show mark labels. Okay, you can see it on the labels. So this is the importance of drop lines. So I'll just take a pause here. So if you guys have any questions. Okay, Ravita, can you tell me the difference between blended axis and dual axis? Yeah, perfect. Yeah, correct. So I thought that's about dual axis and the difference between blended and dual axis. And we also discussed about drop lines. So now let's go to the next slides. Okay, so in the next slides, we have top five and bottom five, where we have already done this. Okay, so can anyone tell me steps to create top five and bottom five charts in Tableau? Okay, Sandeep, can you tell me the process to create top five, bottom five set? By using set, by using sets. Okay, no problem. Ravita, can you tell me how to create top 5, bottom 5 sets? Okay, no problem. I'll just right click on this diamond. Yeah, click on set and go to top. So here we'll have the option to select top 5, and this is called as top 5 set, and say okay. So we have created a top 5 set. So whenever we select, so this top 5 is based on the customer name and the sales value. So who are the top 5 customers I want to know? So I have created a set like this. Based on the sum of sales, I will get the top 5. So these are the top 5 customers who made the highest sales. So if I put this in filters, so it will restrict the data to only those top 5 customers. So I can see only those top 5 customers. Okay, now I will create a bottom 5 set where I will see the bottom 5 customers. So right click on the same customer name and create set, and click on top and by field, and here select bottom and select 5 and say okay, and write the set name as bottom 5. Say okay and put it in the filter shell. So you will see only the bottom 5 customers. So I'll just put it in the filter shell. Okay, so these are your customers who are giving very less sales. Okay, so now that we have bottom 5 set and top 5 set, I want to create a combination of these two. So I want to see top 5 and I also want to see bottom 5. Okay, how to do that? So I need to combine these two sets. So just select control, hold the control button and select top 5 and bottom 5 and right click and create a combined set. So I want both bottom 5 and top 5. So you need to select all members in both sets. Say okay. Okay, so now that there is a combinational set, so this is a combined set. You can rename it as top and bottom 5 set and say okay. So top and bottom 5 set is now ready and we will keep it in the filter shell. Okay, so at a time we can see top and bottom. So these are my top 5 customers and these are my bottom 5 customers. And I want to differentiate between top and bottom. So I'll make use of one of the set that is there, which is top 5 set. So I'll put it in the row shelf. So it will show whenever this condition satisfies. So in top 5, we have written a condition to get the top 5 customers who are having highest sales. So that whenever that condition satisfies, that will go into inside. So inside of that set. And whatever is not satisfying that is condition, so that will be out. So outside of that condition. So it will be shown as out. So whatever satisfies, it will show as in. And we can rename this. So we can do an edit alias and we can read as top 5. Say okay. And out as we will write it as bottom 5. So this thing we can do and say okay. Okay, so we have seen and we have let's say we can use parameter also in this where user can enter this values. So I'll create a parameter where user can enter that value. So select number of top number, or you can say select number, and I'll give integer and select range. I want to start from minimum 1 to 100, and you can give step size also. So when you give step size, let's say 3. So it is the multiples of 3. It is a multiples of 3. You can't select multiples of 3 in the sense you can select only 3, 6, 9, 12 like that. So if you select in between values like 5, 4, 7, so whatever is the nearest value, it will select that value. So now let's see, select okay. and create top five. So edit this top five select. So instead of this static value, now I will select this parameter which we have created. So whatever parameters that we have created outside, so we can see all the parameters in this dropdown. So select number is the parameter that I have created. So it is visible over here and say okay. And bottom five also, you write the same, you change it to this parameter, select number, say okay. Why we are seeing only one? As the parameter is selected with one value. Show parameter control and type in. So if I enter 5, so the step size is 3. So 1 to 4 and plus 3. If I even if I enter 5, it will go to 4 only. So I'll just make this, remove this. I just want to see 6, top 6. And not only here, I want to show it in the title as well. So I want to show top and bottom. Okay, so whatever number I'm entering here, I want to see it in the title as well. So there is an option where you can insert that in the title. Okay, so whatever number I'm selecting over there, so you can keep that parameter in the title itself. So this is dynamic, where if you change it there, it will automatically change in the parameter, I mean the title sheet. So I have entered 6 over there, so you can see top and bottom 6. If I enter top 10, okay, you can see title is also changed to 10. So this way we can uh, change the parameter as well, parameter value in the title. So that is about how to use top and bottom. Not only that, so if I want to color, so let me just make this into bar chart and sort it accordingly. Okay, so now we have top 10 and bottom 10. I want to color top 10 with a different color and bottom 10 with a different color. So I will make use of this top and bottom 5, or I will put this top 5 to set in the color. Okay, so I can see different with different colors. So I will put bottom in red color and top in green color. So you can see the values are coming green and red. So in this way, you can use the colors as well by using sets. And this name, I mean, the name of the title can also be manipulated with this parameter value. So you can insert the parameter values over there. So these are the list of names that you can automate. Even the sales value also you can show it over there. So whatever is the total value, it will, so it is beginning from 5 to 25,043. So that value also you can see. So beginning from 5 and ending at $25,043. So all this information also you can modify and you can show it in the title. Okay, so that's about how to make use of this parameters in top 5 and bottom 5. And now let's see. Let's go to the other slides. So spotlighting calculations. So spotlighting calculation is something where you want to highlight different measures, or let's say if you want to show some specific numbers or some specific subcategories that you want to highlight. So then we'll make use of this spotlighting calculation. So now let's create this, recreate this in Tableau. So let's put segment, subcategory, and just swap whatever is in rows. I want to see it in columns. In columns to rows. Now to say sales. Okay, so I'll write a small calculation where if sum of sales greater than $20,000, then met target, else does not meet target. Okay, so and so I'll use this color condition in the color mask chart. Say okay, color mask chart. So drag this and put it in the color mask chart. Okay, so we can do a spotlight for the condition which we have written. So whatever satisfies the condition which we have written, so whichever is greater than $20,000, those are getting highlighted with orange color. Which are not satisfying the condition, those are getting displayed in a blue color. So does not meet target is in blue color, and whichever is meeting target is in orange color. So that's how we can make this thing. And I will show you when we have done this blended axis, we have these names which are not visible. So in this case, what we can do is we can directly right click on this and click on format and go to yeah, so go to here and flip the names so that you can see the names in vertical way, or you can do this one to see the names in this way. So preferably use this font. So you can see this discount, profit, quantity, sales coming in similar to the bars. So in this type of situations, we will make use of this alignment. And not only formatting can be done not only here, we can right click on any of the axis or any of the headers. You can directly do formatting then and there. So here you are seeing it as 150K and all. So instead of that, if you want to see, so you can customize that. If you want to see the exact number instead of K and all, you can do that. Or if you want to see in K or millions, so we can make use of that thing. So that's about formatting. And let me show you this drop lines here. So right click on this and click on show drop lines and edit drop lines and say always. Okay, so you can see everything, every bar, each and every bar is connected to the axis. If you don't want to show, right click on this and click on untick that show drop lines. So that's about this spotlight calculations. Okay, so I'll just take a pause. If you have any questions, you can ask. Okay, so yeah, so we have discussed about one business scenario where we have selected the months, and I'll just show you the other date functions. So I'll just take order date. So not only date diff, we have multiple other functions which are available. So right click on this and make it discrete. So click on calculate field and click on this arrow mark. And so these are the functions that are there. And when you click on this, So you can see these many functions. So if you want to add any date to any particular month, let's say if I want to click on this date add and say order date, and I want to add months to this. So this is the process. And how many months I want to add? I'll write it here. I'll add 2 months. So, okay. So you need to keep the months here. I want to add 3 months or 2 months to order date. Okay. So dates add function. So to add date to this, so I'll make use this function here. Okay. So can anyone tell me if I add 3 months to order date? So for January, what will be my output? Sandeep, can you tell me what will be my output if I add 3 months to January 2020? Okay, Ravi, can you tell me if I add 3 months to January 2020, what will be my only one date? It will be April only. So I am adding 3 months. So so January plus 3 is April. So if I do this to month and year and make it discrete. Okay, so January it is April 2020. And February, if you add 4 months, it will be May 2020. And if you change it to 1 month, let's say, okay, it will be January plus 1 month, which will be February 2020. So likewise, you can add quarter also. So you can use all date parts here. So uh, can anyone tell me what are the date parts? Quarter, month, day, week, and there is one more year. Yeah, so these are your date parts. So you can use all 5 functions here. So if you want to add quarter, you can add quarter. You can add month, day, week, year, like that. So if I add quarter, so let's see what will be the difference. So quarter is nothing but 3 months. So basically it is adding 3 months to each month. So January, if you add 3 months, it will be April. February, if you add 3 months, it will be May. If you add 2 quarters, so how many months it will add? So can you tell me if I add 2 quarters to date, how many months it will add? 2 quarters. Yeah. So it will add 6 months. So click on this. Okay. So January plus 6 months, it will be July. So in that way, we can see the, we can add the date to this. And now we already have seen the date difference. So let's see date difference again. So to find out date difference, so we need two different dates. So let's take ship date. Let's take ship date and I'll make it as month and make it as discrete. Okay, so here you can see the syntax on how to write date diff function or any function. You can see the example and what is the definition of that function. All you can see it here itself. So date diff, you need to write the date part and you need to keep two different dates. Okay, so date part, I'll write it as month and I'll write ship date minus order date. Okay, not only in date add function, in any of the date functions, you can make use of this date parts, all these date parts. Okay, so now I want to find out ship date minus order date. So I'll write date functions. Say apply. Okay, so what will be my output? So January 2020 minus January 2020, what will be my output? So it will be 0. So January 2020 minus January 2020, which gives you 0. That means both are matching. So my January minus 2020. So the months you will get as 0. And when you do subtraction between January minus February, so there is -1. So I mean 1 month difference between January 2020 and February 2020. So this I am doing based on the month. What if I do it with day? Say apply, and I will show the day here. Here also I will show day. Okay, so now it will find the difference between days. 7 minus 4. So 7 minus 3, which is -4. So this date minus this date, you are getting the, what is the difference between this days and this days? Ship date and order date. So this way you can find the difference between two different dates by using date diff function. And now we also have date name. And when, let's say, if you want to find out only the name in the sense, if you want, so you can use all these date parts again. Okay, so let me show you what it does. Date name. So date part, I want to see month. So every time you have to write it in small letters only. Otherwise, this function won't work. And I need date name for order date. They apply. Okay, so what is it doing is, it is giving you the name for month. So what is the name for the month? January. For February, it is February. So it is just giving that month name. And if you say year, it will give you which year it is. And if you give quarter, it will tell you which quarter it is. First quarter or second quarter. So whatever is in January, February, March, it will give us first quarter. Whatever is in April, May, June, it will give you second quarter, like that. July, August, September, it will be third quarter. And let's say day. Say apply. Okay, so what day it is? It will show you only the date. So in this way, you can separately, if you want to see which month and all, so that we can make the separation by using date name. Okay, so date pass is an important uh, function that is available in Tableau. Sometimes what happens is you don't get data in a normal format. So I'll create one dummy data. I'll create one dummy data where you will have, I have date, and I have names and sales, something like this. Okay. Sometimes data that you get might not be in the proper format. So date, if you have it in the proper format, then only you can make use of date in lot of ways. So let's say order date, if you take, so you can use it in multiple ways, years, quarters, months, like this. And you can, let's say if you are dropping it to here, so you can make a drill down year to quarter, quarter to month, month to weeks and days. So that we can do. So we can do a drill down and we can do a drill up. So there will be a lot of options you get when it is in date format. So sometimes what happens is you get date like July 2020. So sometimes you in data you will get like this, which is not in a proper format. So January 2022. Okay, some names I will give you random names. Okay, so I will save this file as date file or something. Date file and save. Okay, so let's connect to this file. Click on this Microsoft Excel date file. Okay, so we have date in this format, which is July 2020 and March 2020. And Tableau is considering it as a string. It is taking it as a string value. So normally, if it is in date format, okay, so in sample superstore, if you go order date, you see a calendar symbol. Okay, so that means it is in a proper date format. So when I say proper date format, so you see in the data file, okay, so it should be like MMDDYYY. So it has to be in this format. Whenever you're getting it in from SQL Server or Oracle or from any data file, so you should be getting date in a proper format. So if you get text like this, so Tableau won't identify it as a date. Okay, so if you go to our file, so it is coming as a date. So now you don't see that year, quarter, month. So that separation or that kind of drill downs you can't do with the normal text. So now we need to convert this into date format. So then only we can make use of all these functionalities where we can do with order date. So this kind of hierarchical drill down we can't do if it is not in the proper date format. And we can't make use of all the date functions which are there. So for dates, we can make use of all these functions. So all these functions we can't do if it is not in a proper date format. So now let's try. So I will convert this into a date format. So how to convert that? So we have a date function, which is date parse. So date parse function. Okay, so we need to tell to Tableau that so this is in this format, dash YYY format. Okay, we need to specify the format which is there. So it is in which format? dash YYYY. So it is in that format. So which column it is? Date column. Okay, so we have told to the Tableau that we have a string value which is in this format. I want this to convert into date format. So let's see, say okay. So now you can see a calendar symbol which is coming. Okay, now we can make this field as a date field. So now we can make use of all the date functions and the hierarchy things. So I'll put this here. So you can see it is converted. And I want to show month. Make it discrete. Okay, so we have successfully changed it to a date format. So you can see January 2022, July 2020, and March 2020. So as we have converted into date, so in date format, so you can make use of this hierarchical things and all. So you can see dates like this, you can convert. So let's say date you take. So you can drill down from year to quarter, quarter to month, and month to days like this. So all this we can do by converting it to date format. Okay, so I'll just take a pause. Any questions? Okay, so what does a date add function does? So can you tell me what is the use of date add function? Hello, am I audible? Okay. Ravita, can you tell me what is the use of date diff function? Yeah, you can find the difference between two different dates. Yeah. Lakshmi, can you tell me the use of date parse function? Okay. Sandeep, can you tell me the use of date parse function? Mhm. Yeah, perfect. So if the date is in string format, if you want to convert into date format, then we'll make use of date pass function. Yeah, so that's all about today's session. Okay, so if you don't have any questions, we'll wrap up the session. Okay, thank you all for joining. We'll continue tomorrow.